What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Elementary Season 6, Episode 1 An Infinite Capacity for Taking Pain. Wow, what a title. Whenever I type in this, it's just, I'm not going to have room to put the second, or not the second episode, but whatever episode I go to. Not going to happen. Yeah, it's been a while since I even looked at Elementary. After I finished up my review of Bull, I was thinking to myself, okay, so what should I do next? I really wanted to finish up Timeless, but it doesn't look like Timeless is anywhere aside from having to buy it. And considering I'm having to buy, like, Criminal Minds, Season 13 and 14, yeah, kind of a problem. So, yeah, I was looking around, I was thinking, okay, so what are my options? And I remembered, oh yeah, I heard Elementary picked up for, like, Season 6 and 7, and then that's it. And I was like, when was Season 6? And I looked, and it was 2018, which is before, or well, it was spring of 2018, which was before most of the other shows that I was looking at doing. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and hit up Elementary. Let's crush through Season 6, see what it's all about, see how it went on after Season 5, because it did take quite a long break after Season 5. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't really want to see more after Season 5. I would have been perfectly fine if it hadn't come back, because it wasn't good. Season 5 was not good. It was all about a gang war, and not like a mafioso type gang. That would feel more Sherlock Holmes. No, this was like just straight up like ghetto gangs in New York. And it's not Sherlock Holmesy. It's not mystery. And I actually went back and watched my review of the last episode because I'm like, what the hell happened? I've totally forgotten by now. Which, by the way, man, what a trip going back and watching that one. That was when I was still recording using the laptop and not my tablet. And man, those videos were terrible. But yeah, I watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, like it was all about this guy that he trusted, but then he couldn't trust him, and then it was this guy who was like, nah, man, it wasn't me. But then it turned out to be him, even though he said it straight to Sherlock's face. I just remember there were a lot of moments in season 5 that I felt like Sherlock was not Sherlock Holmes. He was just a smart guy, and that's it. And that's not who Sherlock Holmes is. Sherlock Holmes is supposed to be the smartest man, and he didn't seem like it half the time. And of course, they threw in this thing at the end where it's like, oh, your memory's going, and maybe that has something to do with it. But they talked about how it was Shinwell hitting him over the head with the bottle that caused the problem that he's currently having. Well, that didn't happen till, like, I think it was the second to last episode last season. So, all the moments earlier on in the season where he was being stupid and not being smart and being just a normal guy, what were those moments then? So I don't know. I wasn't really looking forward to it. So coming back into it, basically, this is kind of just an episode to kick it off. Nice little mystery, and then some personal stuff going on. We get to actually see everything going on with Sherlock and what's going on with his mind, and it was pretty good. There were definitely some good moments. A couple moments that I was just like, sitting here, kind of getting bored. The one moment that I'm kind of on the fence about, though, is the moment where Sherlock breaks down to Joan and basically starts talking about, if I don't have my mind, what am I? And I'm kind of on the fence because on the one hand, it was a good moment. It was emotional, which, yeah, I'm glad they were able to get that emotion. But at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking this isn't something Sherlock would do. He wouldn't break down. He wouldn't be all like, oh, woe is me, my brain is going. But also, we've never seen Sherlock have to deal with that. Like Sherlock Holmes, the character, we've never seen him have to deal with that before. So what would he be like if he started to lose the one thing that makes him special? I don't know. And so that's why I'm kind of on the fence, because it's like, well, I mean, this isn't Sherlock. He's crying about this. I mean, Sherlock never cries. He's a sociopath. He's a high functioning sociopath. That's what he likes to call himself. But at the same time, we've never seen him go through something like this. So I'm kind of on the fence. I'll be curious to see where it goes. It was just weird to see Sherlock having emotions, because most of the time he doesn't. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see what they decide to do with this. But as far as the mystery is concerned, it was pretty well done. The husband ends up being the bad guy, which is not anything we've never seen before. but they did handle it in a pretty good way where you really do feel like he's trying to help out. You know, he comes across as this nice guy who turns out to be a bad guy. It's almost like Brett Dalton has played that before. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, you know, like, it was really well set up. I loved how at the end we got to see the little things that help Sherlock piece together how to find out, to prove that the husband is the one that killed them both. And it was a very nice Sherlock moment. It's something that I don't really remember season 5 having a whole lot of. So I was glad to see that. It was really well done mystery too. But yeah, so as far as this first episode goes, it's a good one to kick off the season. And we do see this guy. I'm assuming he's probably going to be kind of a main story type of guy. His name is Michael. And he talks to Sherlock about how, you know, like, oh, you gave me inspiration. It's funny because he named out the time, like the exact amount of time since he heard Sherlock speak. And he says, oh, it's because that's when I stopped, or that's when I, you know, quit. But at the same time, it was also kind of like he spit out the numbers so quickly. I was like, something's weird about this guy. You know, like he seems almost on like Sherlock's level. And so, sure enough, at the end of the episode, you know, Sherlock calls him. It's like, you know, you talked about inspiring me. Well, I really wanted to be able to talk to you, so let's go to a meeting. He's like, yeah, just give me a few minutes. And then it zooms out, and sure enough, the way they set it up, I'm like, okay, so let me guess, he just killed somebody, right? And then he's digging a grave for some woman. So I'm guessing, my first thought is he's a serial killer, and Sherlock inspired him to go back to serial killing again because he had stopped. I don't know if that's it for sure, but we'll see. If that's the case, I mean, it's a good setup for this season. He seems like he's on the same level as Sherlock as far as the sociopath part of things. But it's like, you know, kind of similar to like a Batman Joker, where they both have the capacity to be crazy, but Batman uses his craziness to, like, controls it and fights criminals, whereas the Joker gives into his craziness and then he's the Joker. But they're both on that same level, and that's why it is such an interesting pairing. It feels kind of similar here. Like, these two, they both have drug issues. They both have a mental capacity to go to a sociopath level, but Sherlock uses his mental capacity to solve crimes. This guy looks like he might be using it to commit crimes. It's just a theory. You know, I don't know for sure that this guy's even going to be on the same mental capacity, but just the way that he spit out the exact amount of time since he stopped, it makes me think he is, you know, same brain brain power as Sherlock. So I'll be curious to see what they decide to do with this character. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I'm probably gonna do 3 episodes at a time. We'll see how it goes, but I am excited to get back to it. I'm kind of curious to see how they decide to end the show. And yeah, I'll see you guys in just a second at the next episode. And now episode 2, Once You've Ruled Out God. This one was a pretty straightforward one. Honestly, I'm not sure if I even have much to talk about. Basically, you know, it seems like this whole dirty bomb thing is going on. It starts off with a theft of plutonium. Well, actually, it starts off with a guy getting... Honestly, I nearly forgot about this because it happened so early on. Guy gets shot with a lightning gun that exists now, because they thought he stole plutonium, but then it turns out he didn't, so then they have to find out who stole the plutonium, then it turns out they might be making a dirty... It got all over the place, and I was just kind of like, okay, sure, I'll be dragged along for the ride. Like, I didn't feel like I was really... I don't know, I didn't feel like I was really a part of it. I felt like I was just watching things happen. I'm just like, okay, so this happened. Okay, now this happened. Okay, now this happened. Okay. So, after all that is said and done, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't anything great. The case wasn't anything that great. I kind of figured it was going to be somebody we knew that was involved, and yeah, that, I forget, it was the NNA, I think is what it was called. Something nuclear national something. He worked with a group that apparently studied dirty bombs and studied possible nuclear threats. And it turns out that guy is the bad guy, and I'm just like, okay, sure, whatever. So yeah, the case in this one, I didn't really feel invested in it. I felt just kind of dragged along for the ride. And then the stuff going on with Joan and her sister, connecting, you know, her father passes, you know, it was okay too. Nothing really special about it. Um, I didn't really feel any emotion. Maybe it's because I'm not really close with any of my siblings. But it didn't really have anything there for me personally. So I was just kind of watching that, like, okay, this is sweet. They get to connect. I will be curious to find out. I don't think they'll talk about it, but I was kind of wondering what was in her father's letter, because I at the end it almost seems like she might have said that to appease her sister, because I don't remember them talking about what was in the letter until she talked to her sister at the end. If they did, then I missed it. Silly me. But I wonder if that was actually what was in the letter, because you could tell her sister was disappointed to find out he wrote their dad wrote Joan a letter, but not her. So I was kind of curious. Is that actually what he wrote? Was about Lynn and talking about them getting to be sisters, or did she just say that to kind of make her feel good? I don't know. Probably not. I might be thinking too much into it, but that was just something that popped in my mind. I'm like, we never actually saw what was in the letter. Of course, I don't know if I would have been able to read it because I think it was all in Chinese, maybe? I don't remember. Can't remember if that was Chinese writing or not. Anyways, and then finally, we've got more story on Sherlock dealing with, his brain injury. Um, Not much is happening. He has a couple moments where he says the light's hurting his head, and then a couple moments where Joan's like, "Hey, you've been on the computer for a while. Are you sure you're feeling okay?" And then at the end, it shows him working on a puzzle because he's like, yesterday I took down such and such, and today I'm doing Unicorn Utopia. Kind of felt like a joke, but I feel like that should have been more meaningful, I guess. Like it should be he's doing a puzzle because that is something that can help his acuity. But to just do a kid's puzzle is kind of like, ah ha ha, look, Sherlock's doing a kid's puzzle. It was so funny. Hoo 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 hoo. Um, why not have him do something actually difficult? Why not have him do a puzzle that is completely blank, or he's doing the puzzle upside down, or something along those lines? So it's like, oh, it's a kid's puzzle, but he's doing it in a way that actually is straining his brain muscle. It's causing him to think, and it's actually working the brain. It's not just kid's puzzle, because hell, if I do a kid's puzzle, I'm not straining my brain at all. So I don't know. I'm just kind of confused why the random joke thrown at the end instead of showing us, hey, he is working to get better. Like, I guess you could take it that way, but honestly, it seemed more just a throwaway joke. Like, look, Sherlock Holmes doing kid puzzles, isn't it hilarious? So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. If anybody else felt differently about that, good for you, I guess. But for me, it just seemed like a stupid joke that didn't really land. Yeah. I mean, CBS. Sometimes they have stupid jokes that just don't land. But anyways, that's it for this one. So now onto the third and final of this video. See you guys there in a sec. And now episode 3, pushing buttons. So, again, another case where I kind of just felt like I was watching everything happening. I don't know. I think I've made this complaint about the show before, but it really feels like somewhere along the way it kind of derailed from what I enjoyed about watching crime shows, which is you kind of get to see everything happening. You kind of get to follow along and be like, oh yeah, I see how they made that connection. At some point, it just kind of became oh, here's the answer, and just throw it up there, and it's like, here's how we came to this, and you're just like, oh, okay, sure. I thought I wanted to join you for that. I don't know. I'm not feeling connected to these cases right now. They're not doing a good job of hooking my attention and keeping me along the way. That's a problem for a mystery show. You want to be able to feel like you're in there and solving the mystery with them. So, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Guy gets shot in a reenactment. You figure it's going to be difficult to solve it. So they go through all this stuff. Turns out his house gets burned down, and then it's like, well, why did they burn the house down? And then it's about finding out about this the papers that were inside, and then you realize the papers actually connect to this other guy. Again, kind of like the last episode, it's like you start off here, and then all of a sudden it goes to here, to here, to here, to here, and you're just, whoa, hang on, like, let's take a breath, let's talk. instead of just moving on to the next thing, because it feels like it just moves so quickly. Like as soon as they found out about the signatures, they instantly had a guy in there, and it's just like, okay, well, it's not him because this is a guy we don't even know. And so then they're talking to him, and next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, it's not about the signatures, then what is it about? And then next thing you know, that's when they find, oh yeah, it would have this one thing, and he's, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I am also a little bit tired, so I could just be missing a lot of what they're doing. But to me, it just feels like I'm not really seeing what's happening. I'm not watching the case being solved. I'm watching them talk about the case and talk about what they're doing to solve it instead of seeing it happen. I don't know. I want to feel more connected to it. So hopefully they can grab my attention again. But the one thing I will say is that I'm still very curious about the story with Michael. We see Sherlock, he's being told, hey, maybe take some time. I do wonder if there was any time in between these two episodes, like if they had to take a break for something, or if they're just going to say, oh, yeah, he took a few weeks off and now he's back. Because I highly doubt they're just going to have a couple episodes where he's not there or he's not solving the case, and it's just. I mean, Joan has shown she can solve the case. You know, she can do it by herself without Sherlock's help. But you kind of lose half of the show whenever he's not there. Like there was a point whenever it was mainly her doing the solving and he was just kind of on the edge of it, and it just wasn't as interesting because it's the two of them working together that makes this show good. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but Michael does bring up the girl that we saw him burying, and he's like, you know, hey, this girl went missing. So I don't know if I don't know what's going on with him. You know, if he is a serial killer, this is his newest kill. If he's just a guy who's a crazy and he's like, oh, I want to create a mystery that he can't solve. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect from him, but I'm curious. I mean, it's definitely got my attention. I'm wanting to see what's going to happen there. So they've definitely done that well. But as far as the cases are concerned, like these two, after the first one, I thought the first one was actually pretty well done and like easy to stay on top of, easy to kind of follow along. But these last two, it just kind of felt like everything was sort of going off the rails and just, all right, we're here now, we're over here now, we're over there, and I'm sitting here going, what is going on? So yeah, I mean that's about it for these 3 episodes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future elementary reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.